be genuine in what you do and go out
Yeah.
there, speak to people. Don't walk past,
Yeah.
even if,
Yeah.
start with a wave.
Yeah. I
And
love
then
it.
the next day say good morning.
Yeah.
And the next day you walk up to the person, oh, hi, I've been saying good morning all for the last 2, 3 days. Um, I just like to, my name is Eddie and I like to know your name. That's where I live. And this is
Yeah.
my church.
Oh, I love it.
And that's how it starts. My name is Eddie Aigbe, and I am the community organizer for two districts, Wolverhampton, Shrewsbury, and Birmingham District. And I am currently running a pilot which covers the West Midlands region, and it's a community or faith-rooted community organizing pilot. And what we're trying to do is see what it would look like if we started embedding the practices of community organizing in our churches and our circuits. What I did in the Zels was I came back from training knowing that I wasn't engaging enough with my community. And so I drew up a list basically, and my number one on my list was my local councillor, and the second on the list was the local PCSOs. So the local PCSOs, they pass through the church, they pass by the church, but they never really come in. I mean, even if they come in, they only spend a couple of minutes. So I was surprised the next time they came in, I actually asked them to come around to the kitchen for us to have a cup of coffee.
Mm.
And then we sat down and we talked. And through them, I got to know other influential people I should be talking to. So
Mm.
that's one of the reasons why you need to like be engaging with people. And soon after that happened, I met with the local councillor, and it was a local councillor that informed me that Lascelles had a neighborhood forum, a monthly neighborhood forum meeting, and I got invited to that meeting.
Mm.
And I went to that meeting with the intention of getting to know the people, the movers and shakers within that community, and introduce myself as a representative of my church,
Mm.
very proudly so. And towards the end of the meeting, I offered on behalf of the church to host the next meeting. So you see what I'm talking about, being intentional. You have to like
Yeah.
come out of your shell and be focused to listen to people and also engage with them. And during that time, tell them about what you're doing in your church. I talked to you before this interview about someone who had approached us about setting up a job club at Lascelles. And that's because they felt we've already related with them and they felt that we would understand that they needed us to set that project up. And
Yeah.
of course, we did set up the project, and we gave them that opportunity to use that space and the assets that we have, combined with his own assets, to set up the job club. The chap that I'm talking about, his name is John. He came in at a point where he saw the computer room and he felt that this computer room was being underutilized. We could do more things with it. And then
Mm.
he approached us and told us his intentions. And prior to that, he had already met with the minister and things were explained. And we got to a point where we had about 6 volunteers, some of which ironically came directly from the job club. So these are
Mm.
people we helped to like even get jobs and
Mm.
who came for help with like benefits and stuff. And they now became to the point where they became empowered enough and confident enough to want to support
Mm.
others. So you see, that's the reason why I feel organizing is really good because it empowers people, helps to build their confidence, it helps to build their skills, and they get to a point where they want to give back to the community. And we've seen that happen in numerous projects that happened in church. It's all about being intentional. If
Mm.
you have it in your heart that you really want to engage with people, you have to make time to do it. And in making time, it's not devoting all of your time. So community organizing doesn't involve you having to take on more stuff. It actually gives you the leeway to make your work more effective. So I guess what I'm telling people is to just take the chance and go out there. And I mean, you could be walking along the street. Be people who have already have connections from within the church. So they might know the local counselor might even be their neighbor. Um, there might be a teacher who's a neighbor. So start with your neighbors. Start with who you know. Start with the person in the local shop who sells the newspaper to you, or the one you go and buy milk from or groceries. The postman is another very good way of starting conversations, and they're really powerful people as well. Have a good conversation with them. You never know what kind of information you can get from them, and then tell them who you are and why you're having that conversation with them, so they don't feel out of place or feel you're trying to pry. You're just trying to like relate with people. And I tend to see that people tend to warm up to you once they see that your intentions are very genuine. With people in office, for example, it's a bit easier because they're quite public oriented. They know that they have to engage with people as well. So it may well be your engagement with your local counselor might be starting with an email or going to his advice surgery to have a word with him and say, well, you're doing your advice surgery here. Have you heard of Lozel's method or this Methodist church? And would there be a chance for you to come and visit us? The intention is there that you're trying to build that relationship. And once you make that intention known, people tend to warm up to it. I've never had a situation in my memory where I've approached somebody with intentionality and the person literally pulls a wall up against me. I've never seen it. And unless you come across as looking very aggressive or something, I don't know. Uh, but I mean, if you're being intentional, you have to smile. You have to look warm and welcoming. Yeah.